Okay, hi.
Hi.
Hi,
So,
hi.
so this is our first podcast, obviously. So I do apologise if it's not the best quality. We've had a few issues.
A few.
I'm still out of breath running up the stairs. Um,
Four little girls combined giving us hell, but we're here, so we hope you appreciate it and give lots of feedback.
yes, exactly. Right. So I'll just start by asking you, Laura. So a lot of the people that are going to be listening to this might not have seen any of our videos, obviously. So shall we just start by explaining who we are? So where are you? So who are you, Laura, in terms of MLM? How did you get involved? Where are you from? What's your sort of background?
So I'm Laura Elizabeth dos Santos. I am 31. I'm a married mum of 5, and I am from Portsmouth. I was in Unique for nearly 4 years, and I was a leader within Unique. I did very well at it. I was very good at it until I sort of come off of Facebook a little bit, got away from the cult-like behaviours for a few weeks, got back into reality and really looked without brainwashed eyes.
So it was kind of that break that got you sort of on the outside almost, and you were able to look from the outside in and sort of be like, what the hell is all this?
Yes, definitely, because when you are in, you don't see anything because it is a cult. You are brainwashed and you are not allowed to see anything other than negative. Positive.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to view any negative.
I suppose you've got everybody around you sort of saying the same things, this is amazing, this is brilliant, I'm doing so well, why aren't you?
Yes, and the thing is with it as well is you have to remember that when you're in these things, once you're in a long time, your whole community is unique, or whatever company you're from, because it becomes your whole life. It's not a side hustle. It's not a little adventure. It becomes your entire life. So every single person you associate with is in your company.
Because I've heard, obviously, lots of, I've had messages since, and I'll obviously go on to explain this into more detail. My first video, I've had FM reps call me to say that they sort of left and they have no one to turn to because they pushed all their real life friends away, and the people who they thought were their friends are as far from it as they can get. I mean, these are the people that have turned on them and bullied them since they've left, and they've sort of come to me because they don't have anyone else they can talk to.
This is exactly what it is. So when you're in, everybody you associate with on a day-to-day basis is in your company, because that's why they have the group chats to keep you all there. They need you there. They can't have you having outside influence. So once you leave, you are now a hater, because they're fully aware you've got things on them that they do not want getting outside of those group chats. They do not want getting outside of the clique, the circle.
Right.
So they have to do everything to completely discredit everything you say. When I left, I had people do live videos about me saying that it was my fault that my baby was in an incubator.
Oh.
Yeah, this was a live public video. It was and these were people that was in the group chat.
And they were the people that you would have considered to be, your besties, your good friends.
I spoke to these every single day for the past possibly 14 months.
Wow.
And they did a live video on me saying how it was my fault that my baby was in hospital and he was in an incubator because he was born a bit early. So that was what happened, and it all happened the time that I left, which was why I came off of Facebook. I needed a break because I had all of this with my family. It was all going on,
Yeah.
they did a live video and said that my husband has multiple affairs and cheats on me, which is why I'm such a horrible, bitter person. Oh my goodness.
I suppose it's, sorry to interrupt, I suppose it's because you haven't said yet that you were very successful in Unique. You were sort of, you were pretty much at the top for somebody who came in at its peak. You did really well, and you'll go on to explain that, I'm sure, but they couldn't do their kind of usual, well, you failed, that's why you left and you're so bitter, because they didn't have that on you, so they had to try to discredit you in other ways.
Oh, yes, and, what's called a racist.
Right. Do you want to sort of explain why that's so stupid?
Well, also, I'll tell you how it happened. I'm not going to say this girl's name or the people that were involved, because I do believe that this girl is running a cult, and that the people that were involved, I don't have any feelings of animosity towards them, because I can see how manipulative she is, and I did find out as well that she was actually in another company before where she did the same thing. So it doesn't bother me. I know the truth, and I know that anybody that knows me knows the truth, and I also know, you know, I have all this as proof, so it doesn't bother me. But if you imagine somebody that it would, so what happened is this girl was actually in my downline.
Right.
And at the time, because I was so heavily pregnant and I had so much going on, I had to have an induction with my son, you know, for him to come out early. Well, I won't go into details, we'll talk about that another time, but that's what happened. So I had to run about and get a few people to do a bit, you know, things in my team page, and she was supposed to be helping me out. But what happened in Unique is it's very competitive. It's such a competitive atmosphere. They like to be the number one. And as I said to you before, and I've said to my viewers before, a lot of Unique presenters' followers are already from Unique. So they use that to kind of escalate themselves up. It's very ego-driven. They want a lot of followers. They get addicted to views on their videos. So they always want to be that number one. So she wanted to do a training in the team page that involved doing a look, like an African look.
Right.
And I messaged her once she posted it. And I just said, I don't feel that this is appropriate. This is why. I mean, I know not everyone would see it like that, and I get it. Because
we are kind of modern day. People should be a bit more aware of things like that. I mean...
Well, I do totally understand it, because I think sometimes we all are guilty of doing things that would offend somebody else. And I think that with the world of Unique makeup as well, Unique corporate aren't really on top of, you know, or should I say in tune with what is acceptable behaviour and what's not. So people aren't really learning from them. They don't have a good example from them. So I can see mistakes happen, and I don't really like to pinpoint something on anyone for one thing. I believe the key is education. So I went, you know, and said, I don't feel this is appropriate. This is why, you know, after all of the Black Lives Matter things, I've been really looking into things.
I mean, for goodness sake, if you haven't been living under a rock, I mean, come on.
You know, and I said I've been really looking into things, and this isn't, you know, I can see what you're saying, but I can also see that this will upset people, and I don't hold it against you. I know it's not you. I know you don't have that in your heart. But this is my team page, and if you're putting it in, that means my name's on it.
Absolutely.
She did not approach her that kindly. Then she started saying I was a racist because in the past I'd liked a Unique look, which was like a lady had done half and half.
Right.
You know, and then she's like, you're racist. Look, you liked this picture, like they do. Their normal tactics, they dig up anything they can do to fit their narrative, and they use that as receipts. Their receipts aren't factual. It's twisted and turned to fit their narrative. So my husband basically went psychotic. I had to keep him off of Facebook because he was like, and my husband is the most private person ever, but he had to I had to keep him off because he was just going psychotic. Like, how can you be a racist? I'm black and you're married to me. You know, and before that I was engaged to another black man as well. So this is what they do, and I don't, you know, this girl carried on these videos for months, literally months,
right.
just after I'd had a baby as well. And I don't hold it against her because I genuinely feel really bad for this woman because I think she's hurting really badly. You know, but I don't, you know, she approached before and said, do you want to sort this out? And I just didn't respond. And it's not because, you know, I want to whatever. I just don't want to go back to that place. And I feel like if I go back there, then I'm reopening everything and I'm opening myself up to being a target again and being hurt again. I feel like the trust from that group has gone. So it's really hard for me to go back. I'd rather just wish people well and just move on with it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's a hard one.
It is, and it just, I mean, to me, when you hear about that kind of, you know, for anybody who hasn't joined an MLM or somebody's trying to recruit them, to sort of hear that side of it, the kind of cattiness, the cutthroat, it's going to just seem so alien because all they hear is the sisterhood. Isn't this wonderful? This is going to be a social, a friendship group for you. This is going to, be the answer to your social problems if you've kind of got anxiety issues or, you're not the best at making friends. So, I mean, to anybody in that position, that sounds about as far from what you'd want to get involved with as far as, making friends goes as it could get. And I mean, that's what I've consistently had in messages. I mean, I'll just sort of mention the reason that I got involved.
Yes, so it's about you, because I can tell that once we know what we're like.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So, my name is Victoria. I won't say my full name because my husband will go mental at me because he was convinced after my first video that we were going to get bricks through the window. So I used the name Miss Bonley online and on my YouTube. I am 36 years old. I was working in, first of all, I say graphic design to people. I won't go into detail. I worked with sort of 3D software. I did solutions for architects and stuff like that in my old life before kids. I never made videos. I never had any interest in going on YouTube or any of it. I mean, in fact, the idea of putting my face out there publicly would have horrified me. Because it is that fear of, what if people come? What if they make fun of the way I look? What if they say things about my appearance? It's that kind of thing. And I was in a mum's group. This was kind of sort of mid-lockdown, and it was a mum's group that a local lady had set up, and it was off the back of a sort of. I'm from Solihull in the West Midlands, and it was a Solihull kind of group of buy and sell and stuff. And she made this group off the back of it. A mum's meetup group, and it had a good few hundred people in it, and it was nice. People were chatting on there and arranging meetups. There was a Temple Spa lady on there that I argued with that was arranging her parties through the group. So that's how I first heard about Temple Spa, and I kind of had a little bit of knowledge of MLMs, but for me it was kind of something more to snigger at. It was like, oh, these these stupid people that are getting sucked into these things, because of course I'd had all the messages trying to recruit me over the kind of years. And
now you see the true psychology of it, you think differently. It all
started as soon as I got pregnant with my first, and I said I was pregnant. I got the Forever Living. Oh, hun, I don't... It was started, hey, hun. If I read that message out to you, it's classic. Hey, hun, how are you? It's somebody I know, and she's obviously doesn't do it anymore, and she's deleted everything. But yeah, so it was all that. And then consistently you just get the odd one over the kind of every couple of months or so, you'll get one drop in your inbox. But when I saw this lady, because this lady on the mums group had gone into detail about how she, one second, this woman who had started the mums group had been quite open about how she was suffering from depression, and she'd started this group because she didn't have many friends. So I kind of knew a little bit about her. I knew she was a single mum of 5 and she had a little baby. So I kind of had an idea about her background. And then the FM World posts started appearing from her, trying to sell her perfumes. And they came on, and I thought, oh, this is annoying, because you've taken this group and you're spamming it with this rubbish. And then the recruitment post came on, and she put on there, I know a lot of you are getting upset about this, but why not help other mums in this crisis time and all this? And then I opened my mouth in the comments and I said, listen, this isn't appropriate for a mums group. We don't come on here to be offered FM World or any of the rest of it. We come on here to network and socialise with other mums. Then what I'm assuming was her upline came on, a really kind of nasty one. Oh, you don't care. People are struggling out there. Such and such said he's trying to help mums who need to earn some extra money. Then the next day, a post was put up, a copy-paste on the main group, which if you go on my with my YouTube, you'll see I answer it in my very first video. And she put this copy-paste, you'll buy shampoo from this place, but why not your friend who's trying to... So I said to my husband, I said, you know what? All these essays I keep writing in the comments feed, I don't even think they read half of them. It goes over their head. They can't be bothered. I'm going to make a video. I'll post it on my own Facebook, and then I'll share it to the group. So to me, it wasn't like I was broadcasting a video to everyone that everyone was going to see. It was for this lady. So it wasn't like everyone was going to see it. And it ended up in the group. Then that video got shared around. So that video got shared around like quite a few times. I can't remember now, like I think 28 times or something in the end. But it got seen by loads of people. And I think an anti-MLM got it and then shared it. And then they both came back on there raging, and FM World's different, we're amazing, we're this great company, do your research. If you did your research, you'd know how amazing FM World was. So I thought, you know what, I am going to look into this company, I'm going to find out about them, and I'm going to tell this woman who's obviously got sucked into God knows what, the reality, because I don't think she's read about it, she's just been told that it's amazing. And the rest is history.
They very rarely know the whole story, do they?
Absolutely. And I mean, this was a struggling single mum. And I mean, I know that people have really taken exception to me keep saying, struggling single mum, lonely single mum. I've got 2 friends, two of my best friends are single mums. One of them's an extremely successful woman, owns a posh house, posh car. I'm not saying that this is single mums are these lonely, desperate people. I'm just saying a lot of them are, and the ones that are the ones that are targeted. I know full well that there are successful, rich single mums out there. So
I think, sorry to butt in.
No, it's fine.
I think what it is as well is that people that aren't directly involved in MLMs, they might not necessarily understand what you mean by that, because people, like me and you, that see these things daily, we know that there are millions of posts and live videos proving, these people physically train their team to target single mothers. So it's not that you're saying, all these things. I think when they haven't seen as much as we've seen on how much single mothers are very much the number one.
I know the prime target. Prime target.
That's what they're not seeing the difference in what you're meaning.
I mean, they are absolutely the prime target. I mean, it's not just single mothers, is it? It's people with disabilities, people with, anxieties, depression. Anyone that they can suck in, anyone that they can use you know, with a single mother, it's obviously, we can help you, particularly if they're on benefits. This is your answer. This is how you're going to get off benefits. This is how you're going to provide an amazing life for your children. Don't you want that for your children?
The loneliness is a key part of it, because what a lot of people don't realise either is that lonely people are prime targets.
Absolutely.
Because this is why they use the things as sisterhood and come and have the community, because that's what they want. They want to get you in those chats, because when you are in those chats, even if you're not working or not, you're going to be speaking to them every day, so it's easier to keep hold of you. And this is what the chats do. They turn you into absolute monsters.
Well, I mean, just for an example, this was to do with another company I made videos about, the business bombshells. One second. This is about the business bombshells. So I obviously made a series of business bombshells videos, and one lady who I went on her Facebook, and she was quite open about, she's on the autistic spectrum. This lady from the business bombshells was quite open about the fact that she was on the autistic spectrum. And this is a lady that came on my Facebook going crazy at me. But looking at her Facebook, she seemed like a lovely person. You know, she was very into animal rights. She was, you know, she's the sort of person that I don't believe for a second she was a crazy, nasty person. But because I was being critical of her company and its top reps, she was kind of, and I know why that is. I have a friend who's on the autism spectrum, and they do find it extremely difficult to make friends. She's a lovely lady, but they find it extremely difficult to make friends. They've probably been bullied in school at some point.
Yeah.
And suddenly...
As you know, one of my sons is autistic.
Exactly.
He's fully diagnosed autism, ADHD, dyspraxia, Tourette's and sensory disorder. So I can vouch that what you're saying is true.
Exactly. I know that my friend in particular, she was bullied. No, I don't think she was ever hit or anything, but they just made fun of her and me. So she was quite badly bullied, and I know for her she values my friendship a lot, because, you know, we are friends, and I think that when you've got people that are going, come on, you can be part of our gang, you can be part of things, they hang on to that, and they don't want to lose that. They've got something that they've never had, a whole bunch of women telling them how amazing they are, and we believe in you, you've got this, you're going to be amazing at this. I looked on her video. She did a video actually where she's kind of just received her beauty bundle, and she's getting it out, and she's there just talking about, oh, this company's so inclusive, everyone includes you. And my heart just, I mean, this is a woman who was vicious towards me, but when I watched this video, my heart just beated an extra bit harder, because I just knew that she feels like she's found for the first time in her life this group of people who want to include her and want her to be part of things. But all they want is for her to drop £125 a month out of her benefits. And she was on benefits, by the way. She was quite open about that also. So you just think to yourself, you know, this isn't your chatty mum in a mum's group that's got sucked into this. This isn't your confident friend. These are some of the most vulnerable people in our society who are being sucked into these things, and it's absolutely horrific. And as soon as they can't afford their beauty bundle, or they've got that much stacked up under their stairs of FM World products, they literally can't afford to spend any more. The second that happens and they need to leave, well, you know what happens. I know what happens.
This is the thing as well, what leads back to the chats, exactly what you're saying. This is how the chats work, and this is why the chats are so important, because one, it keeps you working very hard, because you've always got people in there, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and also that keeps you away from outside influence, because you are always on your phone, you're always busy. Now, I can say from first-hand experience, going back to what you were saying, how you doubt this woman was like this is the same as the woman that I experienced. What what it is the chat and the business change them. They don't necessarily start as horrible people. It's those chats, and I know myself, because you are all crammed in here every single day with all of these people. Oh, you know, they'll start whispering, this person said this about you.
Wow.
Because
that really schoolgirl bitchy.
As a leader's point of view, what happens is when you're a leader, you do get a lot of them phone for your attention.
Yeah.
So what they try and do is they'll talk about each other and talk to you like they'll say that you're, you know, oh, this person's saying this about you to make you dislike other members so that you'll give them your main focus. You know, they'll be the entrusted one. They'll be the one that you are really close to, and they'll display this by often saying, oh, you know, me and Laura speak all the time.
Yeah.
Are so close, and then all the time I had this in my team with this little group in particular. What she actually did, and she's done it about me since, she's made fake accounts about me and sent messages to people looking like I've done it.
Wow.
And she did the same to somebody I can't name, but I'm still good friends with this lady. She did the same to this lady. She came in our chat and showed us all this message that this lady had apparently sent, being absolutely awful to her.
Wow.
But it was done from a fake account, so it wasn't even this lady in the first place. So then, of course, we all said mean things about that lady because we were like, wow, that is so awful.
Wow.
How dare she message you that? Of course, then they have the ammunition to use against you. This is the reality of Unique. They'll say, oh, did you see this live video? That was about you. So then, of course, they get you to talk bad about others. And I've got no shame in me whatsoever and no ego in me to admit I have said so many things about others. And that's why I had to come out of my chat. I said I've had enough. This is not me. I don't feel like me anymore. I feel like I don't do stuff like this.
That doesn't sound anything like you, Laura. I mean, I can't even imagine you because you're such a sensitive person. I mean, I can't even imagine you. But that's how it turns, isn't it? It kind of, it's that animal fight or flight instinct that suddenly you feel under siege by whoever, and it's that instinct to fight back, and it almost brings out this primal instinct in you. And it reminds me, what you say, it kind of reminds me of, you know, teenage girls, when you're sort of learning about yourself, everyone's a bit insecure. Oh, somebody said this about you, and it's that same kind of impulse to defend yourself almost.
Yes, and this is the exact tactics they use in the chat. So, you know, she would say to me all the time, oh, did you see that? That was about you. So then I would say, what a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
What, you know, and then she uses it all against you. This was in my actual team. So there's a big, well, not a big, because I did have a very large team. There's a group chat that I do not speak to. The rest of them I'm fine with.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is the thing they hate as well. See, everything they do is to gain power over you.
Sort of divide and rule.
This is why so many people will not speak out, because they are so petrified, and because they're fully aware that there's evidence of them from the chat, there's evidence of them from the team page, and they're so frightened of that coming out. See, whereas me, you can literally show whatever you want about me, and I will come and I will make a video on it, and I will explain the thought process, the psychology and the mental abuse, and I will show you all so you can witness what a monster it turns you into.
Yeah, no, and I think that is why you are such a goldmine, Laura, because you're the first, well, I'm sure there are others out there, but you are one of the first people that has actually had the balls to step forward and say, this is what I did, this is what I've done, and I'm no different to you, and I didn't act like a good person in these times, and this is the reason why. And I think that this is why somebody like you poses such a threat to the MLMs, because you're taking the shame away. their whole kind of, the leverage they have is that they want to make these reps that are leaving feel as ashamed as they possibly can, because that keeps their mouth shut. But if you take the shame away and you say, listen, I did it, she did it, I know for a fact she's doing it. You don't have to be ashamed.
I want to say as well, because this is such a large subject. I mean, we're going to do multiple video, guys, but I want to really make this clear on our first video. If you have liked a post or been associated with something that you now don't think is morally correct, that does not make you a bad person. Everybody's done it. If you have said something nasty about another person, that does not make you a bad person. Everybody's done it. If you really believed in something which you now don't, that does not make you a bad person. Everybody has done it. There is not one person on this planet, unless they're full-blown narcissists, which is what MLMs turn you into, okay, that can say that they have never done anything wrong. They've never made a mistake. The way you take your power back is you say to them, I am not scared.
Exactly.
I did things that I didn't like. But you know what? I'm going to say. And you know why I'm going to say? Because it's going to help someone else. Tell me one person on this planet who has not made mistakes.
Absolutely.
There's no shame to feel.
If you can normalise and get out there and get it in all around that, do you know what? It's not just you. We were all like it. Then they're not afraid to talk anymore. And when they're not afraid to talk, the exchange of information happens. The more videos come out, the more confident people are. And, you know, we've seen, I mean, the comments you get, the activity on my page, the messages I've had, and I mean, I always pass on your video to any ex-reps that get in touch with me, and I say, look, this person, you know, she's talking about her experience. You've got nothing to be ashamed of. One lady I spoke to recently, she said she's been in multiple MLMs, and I said, oh, could I please interview you? No, she wasn't interested. What she did say was that she's considering writing a blog or a book even, that the amount of shame this woman felt, and it was the humiliation, because once you're sort of out of it and you're looking in from the outside, it looks all so obvious, doesn't it? And so, how could I get sucked into this?
If you could just repeat that part, because on my end it cut out.
When you do eventually get out, this lady eventually got out, she looked back on her sort of 7 years she was in MLMs for, multiple MLMs, all the same, you know, it's not this kind of idea of, well, I didn't even learn the first time or the second time, well, what an idiot I am. How could I be so stupid? And it seems so obvious, but it's like you say, when you're in it, you don't think like that, and it's kind of like, well, this MLM wasn't right for me. I didn't get the right training. I'll move on to this one. Perhaps it's a bit better, and it's what you opened my eyes to, Laura, was, I mean, for me, my whole thing with the FM World video was, well, if I can stop people getting involved with FM World, that would be good, wouldn't it? But you showed me that it doesn't work like that. They will leave one MLM, get bullied, and then join another. Sort of out of the frying pan straight into the fire.
And the reason for that is because of what we were saying. They will do all of these things to you. I mean, the way you get treated is awful. I'm not going to lie. This is why they do it, because when they leave their MLM that they were in, see, you're isolated, because everything about every aspect, you're in these chats, you're speaking to the people purely from your MLM. So when you leave, you're left with no one. So then you're just alone, you're bored, you're fed up, especially in current times. And then you go into a new one, and then the love bombing starts again. So this is what the cycle is. It's lonely people that, you know, and it sounds awful, lonely people.
Everyone, I fall into that. I have definitely can say that I have fallen into that category through lockdown. I have been a lonely person, no shadow of a doubt.
There's no shame. I think people need to stop looking at the word lonely and single mother
and vulnerable,
putting it into, you know, this thing of we're talking bad about
what
it.
is this kind of I'm a weak person because I'm lonely, or I'm a weak person because I'm vulnerable? It doesn't mean that.
No, I think that's the MLM side of it, giving you that fear kind of thing of, you know, because this is the fake it till you make it. Oh, you know, you can't admit you're lonely. You have to be up there. I'm powerful. I'm strong. Look at me. You know, oh, I don't know, my cat died today, but I'm still here because tomorrow's another day.
Yeah.
It's the classic thing of toxic positivity that has put the shame on these words that we use: loneliness, sad. These aren't shameful words.
No, not at all.
They're not bad.
Part of the human experience.
Way to describe somebody. It's the MLM that's put this into toxicness.
Yeah, can I just touch on that, because I think somebody in one of your comments feeds on one of your videos commented on sort of, you know, what sort of an expression is toxic positivity? Isn't that just a huge oxymoron? And an oxymoron what oxymoron means is an impossible expression. It's something where, you know, like, that's terribly good. How can something be terribly good? But it's an expression we use, but it's an impossible situation, really. So she said toxic positivity is an oxymoron, because how can something positivity be toxic? And I said, because you are taking the word positivity and you are not understanding that it means something completely different to the word positive. Positive is something that you experience, a positive emotion at this point. And nobody is positive all the time. Positivity is the act of being positive. And it becomes toxic because you are forcing somebody to remain in this state of being regardless of any external happenings. Your cat died, remain positive. You must remain positive. Your mother died, you must remain positive. You know, we must find something good out of this.
I think the fact that you described it as the act of positive says it all.
Exactly. It's an act, exactly. And because nobody can, if you never experience anything negative, how can you even know what positive means if that's just your default state? It's part of the human condition to feel negative emotions and to feel sadness. And that's the only way we can feel the spectrum of feelings. So to force somebody into only one state of being, by default, makes it toxic.
Well, this is the thing as well. It's used in MLMs because, you know, and you'll see it in all the money they put in these big conferences. You have to defy logic. Logic harms you. This is why they do this.
Yeah.
So you would think it would be logical to be upset about your cat dying. No, defy logic. Defy logic. And you have to defy logic. Why do you have to defy logic? Because then you're going to realise and you're going to look and you're going to see how impossible this is.
Exactly. Because it's a belief system, and they can provide absolutely no evidence that this works for everybody. You know, they kind of, this whole thing, the 1% that actually make it, the 1% that actually don't sort of lose money, when you've got hundreds of thousands of people in a company, that 1% is thousands of people. So they can find these thousands, show them to the hundreds of thousands, and say, well, look, all these people made it. And that's their evidence. They stop them, you know, there might be hundreds of thousands of you, but if you're working hard, if you really want it, you'll make it. And they lazy ones, they won't. Only the lazy ones will fail.
Yeah, because they have to shame you into believing that it's your fault, not the company, because then you're less likely to speak out because you'll be embarrassed.
Because I'm lazy. Oh, I don't want anyone to think I'm lazy. And, you know, I mean, I've still got people now, even though I've now made videos about several companies, that will not accept, they'll come on that FM World video and they will not accept that I haven't been involved with FM World. They will not accept it. They tell me I've obviously been involved and I've failed, and that's why I made the video. I've got a woman commented the other day. She said the only reason that I knew the FM World prices was because I must have been involved. And I said, well, no, that's FM World give you all this information. No, you must have been involved. They won't accept it. They will not accept that I haven't been in an MLM and failed. Because if I haven't been in an MLM and I've failed and I'm still against it, it goes against their narrative. Because their whole thing is, well, look, they've all, Laura, she must have failed. I mean, you've had it, they've been accusing you of failing because the fact that you succeeded, again, that goes against their narrative. They can't accept that because they have no argument for you. Well, you were a success and you left anyway. How could this be? You know? So
that's exactly it. So I think what we'll end on, and we will discuss a day to do this once a week, guys, and we'll pop a post up, and we'll put it on the footage of this as well. But I think what we'll end on is, what are your goals with your YouTube and this podcast? If you could pick a perfect scenario on what you would want for the future, what would it be?
For me?
Yeah.
For me, I would like anybody who Googles one of the companies that I've made a video for. So somebody's had a recruitment, somebody's in a vulnerable position, they need money, somebody sent them their business opportunity. If they just Google it or put it into YouTube, if my video comes up and they watch it, and they watch the video and they realise how stupid it is, that's all I want from this. It's all I want. I'm not bothered about anything else. And every time I get a letter from somebody telling me that that's happened, that to me is more than anything. That I get so happy from that, and I read them out to my husband. I'm like, oh, look, this woman was going to join the business bombshells, and she sent me all of the recruitment posts. They're really trying to get her in, and she said, I was going to join, but I saw your video and I'm not. That to me makes everything. I'm so happy. But how about you, Laura? What are you trying to get from this?
For me, it's part of not only to help other people, but I am doing it for myself as well, and I'm not going to lie about that. With me, it is part of my healing to be able to undo some of the damage that I did. Because I recruited hundreds and hundreds of people. I was a top recruiter for the United Kingdom. So I want to be able to use that influence I had over people for good now.
Yeah.
Because another thing that people say, you're desperate for views. Well, I am, yes, because I need views to get my voice heard. So that argument doesn't work with me, guys.
Exactly.
Another thing they like to say to me is, oh, your followers, well, that's fine. They're big girls. I just will warn you, I can't control them. If you do get a few clapbacks, well, that's Brit. We say what we say, and we're not ashamed of it. But a lot of people don't realise with me, I actually lost a lot of followers. I did have 30,000 followers on my makeup page. So now my YouTube channel is actually extremely small to what I'm used to. So as for doing this for followers and views, you're really barking up the wrong tree. Because I've actually lost a lot leaving my MLM. But I've gained myself.
How many did you have followers? Sorry to interrupt. How many followers did you have when you were at your sort of height? When you were in 30,000. I mean, we know that that's around the time when you're considered a public figure at that point, aren't you?
Yeah, and there will be people that will jump in these comments and vouch for it because a lot followed over from there. So, all of these points they like to use, they're all irrelevant.
Well, absolutely. I want
to gain that traction that I had on my old page, but this time to use it for good. This is me undoing my wrongs. I have no shame and I have no ego in admitting anything. This is my chance to turn it around.
Yeah. No, I mean, there is no... Do you know what, though? That's only going to make you more passionate in the end. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't... If there had never been a lockdown, right, and I'd have never sat at home kind of with nowhere to take the kids and nothing to do, would I have started researching FM World and making videos? I doubt it, to be honest. So for me, this has been a sort of a way to kind of express myself at a time when, you know, I was feeling kind of bad, and perhaps the therapy for me was to see other people in a worse position than myself and to go, well, hey, if I can kind of make a difference to them, that will kind of uplift me almost.
Yes.
But just a
because
point
you
on
know you were helping others.
Exactly. But a point on the FM World thing, I mean, it's been 5 months since that video, and if anyone from FM World is watching this, please, if you think that I have been involved with FM World, put a thing out, and I'm sure if I've been in somebody's downline, they will have come forward by now to say, yep, she was in my downline. I have never been in FM World or any MLM, not at all. And if I have, then somebody surely will have come forward to say by now, surely.
Sorry for coughing, guys.
No, that's okay.
Also, I just want to let FM World reps know that if Victoria was part of FM World, all you need to do is you need to email your customer services and they'll pull her account up.
Exactly. If you suspect
if
me.
anyone wants to provide that information for us, that would be incredible.
I give full permission for you to publish anything about me being in an MLM, because I have never been in one. So yeah, I just wanted to sort of make that really clear, because there are just people out there that will not accept it, because obviously, like we said, it doesn't fit the narrative. So we'll leave it there. Laura, shall I've set us an email up for this podcast for anybody to email any kind of, you know, comments, subjects that they think it would be a good idea for us to touch on. Any stories that you think would be, you know, good for us to talk about or recite on the podcast. And I will provide the email in the description, but it's Victoria, Laura, Babes, all one word, at gmail.com. So Victoria, Laura, Babes, at gmail.com. So if any, you know, you can send us your abuse, tell us we're stupid bitches, you know, tell us how wrong we are. Anything you like, express yourself in any way. We won't tell anyone's name.
Anything you want to get off your chest, it's welcome in our email.
Absolutely. We will only say names if you specifically want us to. All names will be kept anonymous unless you say otherwise.
So hopefully this goes okay. We'd really appreciate some feedback in the comments. It is our first one, so we'll, like anything, get better and better as we go.
We hope we will try and improve the quality. We've had to kind of do a sort of workaround on this one, but yeah, hopefully next time quality will be better. And I do apologise if anyone heard screaming in the background. I go downstairs and our whole place is being trashed, so that's exactly what's going to happen. So yeah, and we'll leave it there then, Laura, okay?
Yes, and have a very Merry Christmas, everybody.
Everybody, Merry Christmas. And yeah, speak soon. Bye.
See you.